Hello Bookstagram friends, and welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to talk about where I buy my books from, because I do buy a lot of my books from places where I can get secondhand books. Notably, I buy my books from Facebook Marketplace, definitely Goodwill, as you guys have seen. If you follow me on Bookstagram or on my TikTok, I've already posted some of my Goodwill hauls. I've been doing this for a hot minute, but in recent times I've posted about it, so you guys have seen my Goodwill hauls. I love half-price books. Love half-price books. So in general, I just kind of wanted to talk to you guys about why I buy my books from there, pros and cons of it, especially Facebook Marketplace. I've had several friends in real life ask me like, hey, so how do you go about doing this? How do you make sure it's legit? Have you had good experiences and things like that? So I want to start off by talking about buying books off of Facebook Marketplace, because I know that probably raises some eyebrows. First of all, let me just say, I personally have had nothing but good experiences on Facebook Marketplace buying my books from there. I do understand though that it is a site where it's a place where you can very easily get scammed. So just be sure that you are aware of how to kind of navigate that. And in this video, I kind of want to talk a little bit more about that and just warning signs and just, I don't know, just kind of talk through it so you guys have a better understanding of how you can potentially, some scammers are real good though, some are real sophisticated. But in general, I want to help you guys just kind of navigate and make sure you don't fall into those pit holes, because to be honest, to me, it's great experience. Okay, so why do I buy my books from Facebook Marketplace and so forth? The budget. Really, it boils down to the budget. And honestly, it's become a little bit of a game to me. Like, I really enjoy seeing what people are selling and what people have available, and seeing, like, I have a mental list of books that I have read via my Libby app or Audible that I want to have the physical copies of. So when I see people post them, or I can sometimes ask like, hey, does anyone have these books? And people drop pictures. I'm like, ding, 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 ding. Perfect. So I really love Facebook Marketplace, because if I ask, or if I've seen someone post pictures of a book I'm really wanting, and you know that it's legitimate, and we'll get to that in just a minute, then you have your book almost guaranteed. You know what I mean? Obviously you have to follow through and pay the person that you're going to buy that book from. You got to make sure you give them the correct information as far as like your address and stuff. But, you know, sometimes I go on Barnes & Noble and Books A Million and it's like out of stock and you're not sure when it'll be back in stock. On Facebook Marketplace, if someone has the book, they have the book. Like, you're almost guaranteed that book that you're looking for. This can include special editions. This can include books of the month. This can include collector's items, or just plain old paperbacks and plain old hardback. But in general, I do like the fact that if, for whatever the reason, you can't find that title in a bookstore, if you go on Facebook Marketplace, you almost always can find a copy of the book. A tip that I want to tell you guys about right now is to make sure that if you're on any Facebook groups, I'm on several Facebook groups, like online groups that do book exchange, book selling, book buying. Make sure that there's ways to verify that that book truly is the book that the person is selling. Now, ways you can do this is by asking if they don't already provide, and a lot of people that have been buying and selling books on Facebook Marketplace and are very experienced with this process are very good at doing this. But in case some are really new people that are really just trying to get their books off their shelves and they don't really know how to kind of go about that. But if they're really genuine, you can always ask this information. Always request, if you don't see it, that there's something like a card of some sort. This is just a plain little piece of paper, but ask for their name and the date on a sheet of paper next to the book. So if they don't already have some sort of an indication that shows you that this is really the person that is speaking to you holding that book, ask for a piece of paper with their name and date on it with the book in the picture. That will help you legitimize the purchase. Also, make sure that they ask you for either your PayPal or your Venmo. I have had to use my Cash App for some books just because it was my fault. Like, there was one time I was trying to buy a book and my Venmo was not verifying the information. Like, it was just bizarre. And finally I was like, girl, do you have Cash App? Like, I'll just Cash App you. I know that's like not necessarily the proper way, but she was someone I had been in conversation with for a long time over this stupid book. So I was like, I just wanted to get it off of her hands. I wanted to have it. So we just went with the Cash App. Typically though, most good sellers are going to ask for your PayPal or your Venmo. If they try to ask you for Apple Pay, if they try to ask you for Cash App, if they're pushing those things, you might want to be a little wary, because most people should have a PayPal set up or a Venmo set up for you to complete your transaction. Make sure before you send that money that you verify that you put in their information correctly too, because it works both ways. I think sometimes we forget it does work both ways. These people are expecting you to follow through and pay them for the purchase if they're legitimate. You know what I mean? So you want to make sure on your end that you market yourself as a reputable buyer and make sure you confirm the correct information before you send your money. Make sure you confirm the correct price before you send your money, and make sure you confirm that it is the correct book before you send your money, okay? Make sure there's clarification before you send your money. After you send it, take a screenshot. Always take screenshots of everything. So if anything were to go missing or go awry, you have screenshots to kind of make sure you can kind of keep track of things. Most times, good sellers are going to send you the tracking information for your books. If they do not send you tracking information, make sure you get it. So I have one girl who I just bought the Spell Shop from her, and she's shipping that book to me on Friday. So she already made the shipping label, so she went ahead and sent me everything like the pre-shipping information, and then I can follow up on Friday and make sure that it got sent through and everything. So as long as you're in conversation with these people, you should be good to go. Now, some people are already ready to go, already ready to sell their books, so they're just going to automatically take your money and have it shipped. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Overall, even with shipping, I have often found that buying these books from Facebook Marketplace and or Goodwill and half priced turns out to typically be way cheaper than just getting the books in person. When you have people that are trying to sell their books because they have such large collections of books and they simply just want more space for books, I've also occurred several experiences where people just simply didn't feel like reading the book anymore after buying it, you know? So some of these books are in very, very, very good condition. People just have to push them out. So with that, they really value someone taking in the book and taking care of the book rather than valuing the money. That's when you really have gotten your sweet spot on Facebook Marketplace. But in general, like I said, even including shipping, typically I'm paying way less than I would if I was buying the book brand new from Barnes & Noble. God forbid if I was trying to like buy a book brand new and had to get it shipped to me. And I've also met some people that I actually follow on my Bookstagram on Facebook Marketplace. So truly, there are people that value books just like you do. There are people that love reading just like you and I do. And they really care about making sure that the books that they purchased go to good places and good people. So I've actually met some really cool book friends off of Facebook Marketplace. But I wanted to show you guys some examples of some purchases that I actually just got. I put on my Instagram story, and I actually already opened these packages because I was real excited, okay? Like I said, I already opened the package. So this seller, her name is Melissa. We're gonna keep everything else private for her safety, but her name is Melissa, and we are on this. There's actually 3 big Facebook groups that I pretty much do all of my like shopping on, and I think they are now private. When I joined them, they were public, but now there's like so many people in these groups. I think they made it private, but I'm pretty sure you can just ask for entry. I don't think it's that big a deal. If you can't get in, there's several groups that you can join, and if you're a little bit more wary of like the bigger groups and you want to try something more local, if you put in where like a city near you, like a major city, or just something nearby, even by county, you can typically find a Facebook page that's doing some sort of a buy, sell, exchange for books. So Melissa, she posted that she was selling some books, and I knew, again, I had a mental list of some books I was looking out for. I knew I wanted a hardback, and I think I said this in my top 15 video. I wanted a hardback version of One Italian Summer so bad. Like, I love my paperback, she was cool, but I knew I wanted a hardback of that one for my collection, and she had it. What's funny is sometime later, I actually made a post on this same Facebook group asking if anyone had a copy of Daisy Jones and the Six. And she messaged me and said, oh my gosh, I actually have that book as well to sell. So she was about to send me the hardback, and before she did that, I was like, you know what, let me go ahead and pay for Daisy Jones and the Six too, and we'll just put it in the same box and it'll be shipped to me. So fun things like that have occurred, but nonetheless, these have come in very good condition. Now, again, you want to find people that are honest, because honesty is the best policy, and that works both ways. So you need to be honest with people as well. If you are looking to sell your books or to buy books, you too need to be honest about what you're willing to pay for a book, your address, all the things. Like, honesty is the best policy on both sides of the coin. Melissa did tell me in advance that there was a small scratch on the spine. You guys can barely see that. She did send me that picture prior to me purchasing. She was just like, hey, I just want to let you know there is that small imperfection. Otherwise, it's good to go. When I saw that, I was like, girl, give me the book. Oh, I have a perfectly good paperback. I mean, literally, it's so good. Like, I've already looked at it, and it's the cover that I wanted specifically. Like, it was stellar. I'm pretty sure I paid like anywhere between $6 or $8 for this. And it on the back of here it says $17, but I paid like literally $6 or $7. And that is including shipping. But also, I bought 2 books. So shipping was, for both of these as well. So with One Italian Summer, very good condition, hardback, perfect. There were no imperfections about it. It turned out perfect. Like this is a brand new book, dang near brand new book. On the back of here it says $27. Again, I'm pretty sure I got this for $9 or $10. So in total, I'm pretty sure I paid about $20-ish for both of these books with shipping. That's pretty good in my opinion. And just to give some more notes about that purchase, we had a conversation. If you don't have the patience for a conversation, then okay, maybe this isn't for you. But even with that, it doesn't have to be a long drawn out conversation. For me and Melissa, we had already been in conversation because she was going to sell me one book, and then she happened to see my post and went back to our thread and said, hey, I actually also have this. Let me just throw that in there. So we have been in conversation for some time. But to that point, what I want to explain to you guys is the fact that a good buyer and a good seller should have a conversation. A really good conversation. So for example, when she said she had Daisy Jones, I was like, hey, send me some pictures of it because I would like to go ahead and get that one off of you since you're already sending me something. She sent me pictures. If they do not send you additional pictures, you ask for additional pictures. If it's something you're needing, if you want to see what the spine looks like, if you want to know if there's any imperfections, ask. That way, if you ask and they give you a certain answer, but when you get the book, it's different than your answer, you can inquire about that. But I say those things to say, it's really good to have it's worth it in my opinion. Like, I mean, I paid a fraction of the price of the retail price of one book for both of those books. And I got a hardback of One Italian Summer. Okay, yeah, I'm going to talk to the buyer and have a conversation. Like some people like the instantaneous feeling of like an Amazon purchase or just buying it from the shelf, which, hey, I love a good bookstore run, okay? I love a good bookstore run. But when it's a book that I already know I'm gonna love, when I already want in my collection, I need it in my collection, I don't really need to do the whole bookstore shopping experience. That's for like finding new things. For One Italian Summer and Daisy Jones, those were the top reads of the year. I just wanted to own them. So I just simply wanted to find best possible price, best quality for those books because I already read them. I've already experienced these books, though both of those will definitely be rereads, but you kind of get where I'm going with that, I feel like. Also, I recently got in the mail Yellow Wife and House of Eve, which you guys know are my #1 and #2 reads of 2024. But those came in the mail not too long after I filmed that video, which I told y'all that was going to happen, but alas. Okay, this was shipped to me by Kate. We're going to protect Kate's identity as well, but Kate sent me these. Kate, if you're watching, hey girl, hey. Perfect condition. Perfect. I love it. Kate told me that she had not read either one of these books. She owned them, she had not read them, so they were brand new paperbacks that I got for like $6.99 each. Score. On the back of here, let's see, House of Eve back here says $17.99 and this one says $17. Yeah, I paid about that much for both of these plus shipping, okay? And they're brand new. So I got brand new paperbacks of 2 of my favorite books of all time for like nothing in comparison. I love it here. I am still waiting on The Spell Shop. That's a book I did recently purchase from another girl, and I feel like I'm missing one, but I can't remember off the top of my head. I need some coffee. Now let's move on to Goodwill. Goodwill, I think what I'll do is I'll take you guys with me the next time I go to Goodwill just to kind of show you guys what Goodwill looks like. I think my problem is I've wanted to do something like that on my Instagram. I think the problem I have is all Goodwills are different. Like no 2 Goodwills are exactly alike, especially when they're in different places that might produce different donations, which means their stock is going to be different. So for example, my Goodwill that's near my parents' house in my hometown, that's the one I have had the most success in. But when you think about it, when you do some quick logic, that's a place where donations are going to be very family oriented in the sense of there's a lot of people that probably did buy a lot of books that are going to donate them after probably one read. Like just knowing the demographics of the area from which I'm from, I'm not necessarily surprised by how the Goodwill is formatted and how many good books I've been able to find at Goodwill. I'm really not necessarily surprised. With that, I like personally to go to that Goodwill because so far so good. And I've been going to that Goodwill many times and I've had very good experiences there. These are just thoughts. This does not mean I'm trying to generalize or speak about certain areas. It's just thought processes. But in general, overall, I have had better experiences at some Goodwills versus others. So with Goodwill, it's more hit or miss, in my opinion, than Facebook Marketplace. Because with Facebook Marketplace, if you really use your brain, you can sift out the scammers. At Goodwill, you literally got to go show up and see what you can find. So you may have taken the time to make a trip to Goodwill to find nothing. Versus on Facebook Marketplace, I can sit in my bed and shop and look at these books and find them and talk to the seller and say, oh, that's not going to be the good purchase for me, or this is that and the third. You know what I mean? However, I have bought a lot of books from Goodwill. Maybe if I can, I'll insert some of my Goodwill haul footage here. Maybe I'll put some of the, like a reel, one of my reels here. I don't know. But the point is, if you go to my Instagram and even my TikTok, you will see that I have done some good purchasing at Goodwill. Now, at the Goodwills that I've been to in this area, typically hardbacks run for about $2 to $3 and paperbacks run for about 77 cents to about $2-ish. The thing with Goodwill is you have a bigger variety of quality with books. So I have seen books that are a little bit more worn. The spines are very broken. Me personally, I'm not as big about a broken spine, but when it's like so worn down that you can't see the title, I'm not buying it. Respectfully, I'm not buying it. Unless I'm going to bookbind it, which I do like to bookbind. To put it on my bookshelf, not doing it. So that's the other thing about Goodwill. It really truly is more hit and miss than it is on Facebook Marketplace. However, I've been able to walk out of several Goodwill trips only having spent maybe $15 and coming out with like 6 or 7 books. It's fantastic. Now with Goodwill, I will say it's best if you take your time. It's best if you've allocated time to actually go through the books. In my opinion, it's worth it to come out with 6 or 7 books I paid anywhere from $10 to $15 for. You know what I mean? Worth it, in my opinion. And once I take off that Goodwill sticker, people do not know the difference of if I bought it from Barnes & Noble, Books A Million, Goodwill, Half Price, Facebook Marketplace. No one's going to know the difference but me, unless I say, oh, I got that from Goodwill. Which, I mean, it's not like it's not public information. But the point is, if you take the time to go to Goodwill, open up the book, look through it, make sure you like it before you purchase it, it looks the exact same as a Barnes & like you're getting it off of a Barnes & Noble shelf for what? 10%, 15% of the cost. It's fantastic. It's truly fantastic. I love a good Goodwill haul. In fact, my friends and I should be going in a few weeks, so I'll definitely be filming us going. I think we're going to go to more than one Goodwill, and I think we're going to Half Price as well, so I'm very excited, but I'll bring you guys with me so you can see. That leads me to Half Price. Now, the reason I love Half Price is that you can go in store or you can shop their collections online. So I personally like to go to Half Price books. I like to actually see what they've got in the store. But I like the fact that if you're interested, you can just go to the website. So that's something I love about Half Price. If I'm just in the mood to just quickly see online what they've got, what's good, I can just go see it. And I have the option of purchasing and picking it up in the store. I love convenience. I'm a curbside girl, okay? I love curbside. If I can curbside it, I'm probably going to curbside it, including when it comes to books. Now, I do love to actually look at books, but Half Price I trust because I have sold books to Half Price before, so I see how they check books and make sure that they're pretty good to go. But even with that, Half Price is still secondhand books, so there are some where maybe there are pages inside the books that are not as pristine as other pages, and so with that, you know, sometimes it is good to just go into the store, but for the most part, I like the fact that you have the option of going to the website and checking out the books and seeing how you like them. Now, I say that to say, in general, typically I go to Half Price or Facebook Marketplace, Facebook Marketplace is like my leading place where I get books. For books that I've already read that I simply just want to add to my collection, whether it's because I read them via the library or Audible or whatever's the case. Goodwill is just for funsies. If I find books that I'm interested in for funsies, knowing that if I didn't really love it, I only paid $2 for it, and I can see if somebody else wants to read it who may have a better experience with it than I did. It is what it is. I just feel like the loss is not that hard at Goodwill. So yeah, that is pretty much how and that really does make up a good chunk of my library right now. Actually, the books that are behind me are just a tiny portion of all of the books that I own. I haven't even finished organizing back there. I took everything off the shelves, dusted, vacuumed, and I'm just now putting these books back up, so ignore that. But in general, you know, that makes up about 90% of my collection of books. I really do love buying books from secondhand places. I love the fact that I have not really splurged that heavy on books, but yet I've built my collection just as quickly as some people that buy all of their books new. For me, it just makes more sense financially. And I don't know, it's something about the idea and the finds. Like, it's like a treasure hunt to me. I don't know, it's really weird. I just really enjoy taking the time to be like, oh my gosh, this is a book I really wanted, but it's $5. Like, yes, give me it. But also, I say this to say, and I make this video to also say, take the time also to go into your local bookstores and to go into small-owned bookstores. I really do think Amazon has made it entirely too easy to buy books, and I'm so guilty of it. I love buying books from Amazon, but I have been very strategic in having an Amazon wish list for ease and convenience, like during holidays and when people want to gift me a book. You can just go down my wish list and pick something off of it. Like, it's more for convenience for people really than it is for myself. But I really like the idea of going to smaller bookstores, locally owned bookstores, minority owned bookstores, or buying from people that, you know, have taken good care of their books and they just simply want to buy new books, or maybe they have to downsize or move or whatever is the case. Like, I don't know. It's just the thought behind it that I like more than trying to always rely on Amazon. I love Barnes & Noble. I'm a Barnes girl through and through. I love Barnes. Financially, for me, it's not always feasible to just go on a frenzy at Barnes & Noble. Like, I cannot walk out of Barnes with 9,000 books the way I can if I go to like Half Price or Goodwill or even Facebook Marketplace. I feel like there's like this stigma behind buying books that are pre-owned, and half the books that I own are pre-owned, and most people can't tell the difference unless I tell them that it was pre-owned. I think there are some books I really would like to invest in, and I look at it more as an investment rather than just frivolously buying a book. Like, for example, collector's editions, like the Knock 'em Out collector's editions. I have to get my hands on those at some point. But that's an investment. That's something I will definitely buy brand new and have my own collector's edition of Knock 'em Out, because it's one of my favorite series of all time. So things like that, I consider those investment pieces, because those books tend to be more pricey anyways, and I want to have my own copy of that to take care of. But other than that, I'm just really not that pressed to have all of my books brand new, especially if it's a book that like I simply liked, that I know I'll reread, but just wasn't like in love with. Like, okay, I'll have it on my collection, but I'm not trying to, like, I don't need to have a brand new copy of it. You know what I mean? So with that, I hope this gave you guys some more insight into how I buy most of my books, how to just make sure you're buying good books off Facebook Marketplace. I do plan on taking you guys on my next Goodwill trip so you guys can kind of see how it goes in person. In my next haul, I'll actually do a YouTube video, because I've done reels where I show you guys how much I paid and what I got, but we'll do a sit down of all the books I get next time. I think that'll be fun. I hope that this inspired you guys to really think about where you're buying your books from and being open to buying pre-owned books. Again, be smart about it. Be very particular, clarify and communicate so that you're getting what you're paying for, but also somebody else can trust you to purchase their books. Because they can withhold the book if they don't feel like they want to sell it to you. You know what I mean? So yeah, I really hope this video was informative and helpful for some, and just kind of gave you guys some insight into how I like to buy my books. And yeah, I guess I'll see you guys. Oh, follow me on Instagram, follow me on TikTok, subscribe, like, and comment. I think that's all the things I was supposed to say. Okay, now we can go. Bye.